This is Duo Cool, a product I designed and manufactured right here in my studio / print farm. And I did this a year ago. A year ago, I put this on the table and I showed you how Duo Cool is this really cool thing that allows you to hold cans. At the time, I don't remember what I had, but supplies are small. So you get to see some lemonade. And then also the whole point was it could also cool larger cans, like my wife's favorite, the White Monster. Again, supplies are dwindling, and so this is empty. But Duo Cool itself was this really neat exploration in, could I create a product that I would find useful, something that I would use? And the goal of this is to put in the freezer, it chills it down, and then you can put your drinks in it. And I thought, what would be a neat product that I could do so my wife and I, when we go watch our son's baseball games, we could take a drink with us, keeps it cool, it's not just rolling around the bag. This is a fun idea. And then time passed. That was a year ago. So I want to revisit this, A, because I've got new information, and B, because I'm finally satisfied in the answers that I can give. And in order to get started with all of that, first, you need a little inspiration. Inspiration always strikes here in 3D Printing Nerd Studio, which is proudly powered by PCBWay. PCB, CNC, and 3D printing. It's all at PCBWay.com. Inspiration struck when I was at home on my couch and I was browsing on my phone. I saw this incredible model on printables and I thought, I really want to print that. So at the studio, I had some Core 1 machines and they were already loaded with some PLA materials, so I could easily get this done. I loaded everything into Prusa's Easy Print. And there's a couple different parts to this model. I sent the main body to one of the Core 1s, and I sent 2 caps, a handle, and a base to the other Core 1. That way, when I wake up in the morning and I come to the studio, I'll have some really cool parts ready for me. All right, back to doom scrolling. What's that? Oh, I'll be right back. It's the morning, I'm at the studio, and so let's grab those prints because I think they're done. Oh, this looks great. All right, I can get behind this. I think this is gonna be really cool. So the first thing I did was create the model because I was inspired. I saw it and I wanted it, so I 3D printed it. And here are the parts. This is in some blue, I think it's Buddy PLA, and I've got the Galaxy Black PLA. These are on the Core 1s from Prusa. Really, really fantastic. So then it just goes together like so. You screw in just fine. The handle's gonna go on like that. And then the bottom goes in like this. There are 4 different holes for screws. I'm using some coarse thread screws, nothing really fancy. Again, this is essentially an iterative process. And so at first I was like, I want this for me, and I'm gonna take the tools I have around me and I'm gonna make it for me. Just like that. The bottom stays on. It's a nice mechanical connection, and the handle up front wiggles back and forth because it's a handle. Let's put some drinks in it, see how it performs. A Coke Zero for me, a Sprite for my lovely wife. There we go. Just like that.
That's right.
I think this is really cool. With this together, and after using it, holding it, touching it, feel it, I had this brilliant idea because I wanted to make this a product. On the Printables website, if you scroll down a little bit and look at the license for this, it allows commercial usage. I saw the commercial option available for this, and I thought, this could be a lot of fun. I have a print farm, and I have access to materials, and we could make ourselves a really cool product that I think a number of people would actually use and enjoy. So I got to iterating. This was going to be V1, the prototype, and I made 2 more. So have a look right here. First of all, I wanted to explore materials. And so the main part of this is printed in a PETG on the Core 1. This is PLA, this is PLA, and the bottom is PLA as well. I also printed this out in 3D Fuel's PCTG. And I thought that could be a really good material. While it is expensive, it is impact resistant, its ease of printability is there, it's a really, really good material. What I found out for something like this though, it's very ductile. While you need something rigid for the handle, if it's too ductile, it just pops off.
That's not gonna work.
It just pops off like that because it's really, really easy to bend. What if I just did this? Not too shabby. The material choice for me was PLA material. It's cost effective, it's the easiest material to print, it's rigid, it's not as ductile. We're not dealing with things that are gonna be having to withstand high temperatures. I'm gonna move forward with PLA as the material of choice. But in saying that and holding this, there is one change I have to make. The reason why this really appeals to me and why I want to make changes is because of these cans right here. This is commonly known as White Monster. For Rockstar Recovery, I like the orange one. In carrying these, they're either at the bottom of a bag getting banged around, or we have to bring a separate cooler for them. It's not the easiest thing to do, and I just want something simple, fun, easy. And so now, in knowing that this is a commercially licensed model, and I can make changes to it if I share it with the same license. So in thinking that, I have a really, really good idea. Looks like we know exactly what we need to do in order to move forward. What we need to do is make this fit these cans. In order to make this fit the taller cans, it needs to be taller. How much taller? Well, the internet told me this was of a certain size, and then the internet told me this was of a larger size. I was able to deduce that the distance between here and here is roughly 35.5 millimeters. All we need to do is make this 35.5 millimeters taller, right? I bet you can guess why that's just not gonna be something easy. I just can't stretch this 35.5 millimeters. There's threading at the top here, and stretching this another 35.5 millimeters would cause that threading to be different than the threading on the caps. Plus, this handle goes into a circle right there, and stretching it would now make that non-circular, which would mean the handle wouldn't fit. And then the bottom piece, if this is extended, it would extend the part that this fits into, so that also wouldn't fit right. What I need to do is take a chunk out of the middle, right here, just cut it, move this up 35.5 millimeters, and then extend this part up by 35.5 millimeters. The top can't change, the bottom can't change, the middle can change. So all we need to do at this point, I believe, is load up Fusion 360 and get it done. Load Fusion 360 and then import your mesh, the STL of the main body. Make sure the unit type is millimeter and then hit OK. Now go to the Mesh workspace and under Modify, choose Convert Mesh. The body is that green thing, and the operation is parametric. Hit OK and wait for a bit. Construct an offset plane and then choose the ground plane for your starting plane. You want 45 millimeters for the distance here. Now in the Surface workspace, under Modify, choose Split Body. The body to split is that thing in the middle, and your splitting tool is that offset plane you just created. On the left in the browser, open the Bodies dropdown and right-click the body for the top one. Then choose Move/Copy. This is where the 35.5 millimeters comes in handy. You'll want to enter that for the Z or Z distance. With that moved up, you can now click the top face of the bottom body. If you've done it right, it'll turn blue. Hit E for extrude and enter 35.5 for the distance. Operation should be join. Hit OK and go make a cup of coffee because this is gonna take a while. Once done, you can choose the 3D print option. The preparation type is export. The object is that thing in the middle you just created, and you can now hit OK to save it somewhere on your computer. Now load it into Prusa Slicer and apply a fuzzy skin. If your blood sacrifice was enough, it'll apply to the whole model evenly, and you can celebrate a job well done. Now, print it out. Well, that was cool, right? And I got the prints done, and to verify it, check it out. Look at that. Now, this is just a purple print. There's no fuzzy skin here. Fuzzy skin takes longer to print, and in the essence of time, what I wanted to do was iterate quickly. And so this is 35.5 millimeters taller than this, but just at the midsection like we did in Fusion 360. So why don't we put this together and see if the cans fit. So now let's see if the white monster fits over here. It sure does, and the cap goes on without a hitch. And my Coke Zero sinks down a little bit further, but I'm thinking, obviously at the time, if I can just do that, I can get the Coke can out. Now at this point, I'm really happy with myself because what I've done is iterated. Now in product design, you start with an idea and you go along this iteration path until you get to your final design. And at this point along the iterative path, I am elated. So now what I need to do is get this, but in fuzzy skin. The fuzzy skin print looks fantastic. And if I put it right next to this one, the heights are the same. So let's get the cans out. Look at that. And it looks great too. This is Zombie Hedgehog's red, and it's in fuzzy skin from the Core 1, and it looks delightful. It looks absolutely delightful, and I'm really happy with the direction this is going. And I know that these are all the same color, but I could have different colorways for the caps, for the handles, for the base at the bottom. There's so many different options at this point, and my mind is racing in this product development life cycle. Now at this point, this wonderful product, it deserves a logo. Let's go make one. I think a good product needs a good logo, and I want to call this Duo Cool. I think it's a fun name, and I came up with some alternatives, but this is the one that stuck. And so I want to create a logo for Duo Cool, and I want it to be right here on the product. So first, let's design that logo, and let's figure out how we're gonna put it on here. I got straight to work creating a logo for this. So what I did is I've got two sort of cans next to each other, and above that, a star, like a cold star, and then Duo Cool at the bottom. The next step is I gotta figure out how to get the logo on this. And this is fuzzy skin. And if I'm going to sell this, I want to sell it as fuzzy skin. So how can I get the logo in here? This next part took days, literal days. First thing I did was go into Prusa Slicer, and then with fuzzy skin, I put the SVG in there as a negative, thinking that the fuzzy skin wouldn't go over it, and it does. Okay, that's not how fuzzy skin works. I changed the SVG of the logo, which is just the outline. I changed that to a modifier, put it in here in Prusa Slicer, and then modified the property of fuzzy skin. I said no fuzzy skin, but it doesn't pay attention to it. Okay, so the slicer's out. Now, hold on a minute. When I said the slicer was out, that was a year ago. And since then, I've loaded up the latest version of Prusa Slicer, and it works. Check it out. I've got the model on screen, and I'm gonna hit the right mouse button. I'm gonna hit add negative volume. It's gonna be an SVG. It's a little bit big. I'm going to scale it down. And then because this is upside down, I'm gonna click over here and rotate it 180 degrees. And then as far as the depth goes, that is how far into the model it's reaching. You can see it's going in quite a bit. I want that to be 0.5. Okay, we've got our negative volume in there. Now, if I click here and I go to the right, which is the paint on fuzzy skin, I'm gonna hit Smart Fill. I'm gonna click here, and there we go. So the way to see if this works is obviously we hit slice now. It's gonna go for a beat. I mean, there's a lot of triangles there that it has to compute. Thinking about it, perfect. And now take a look. So 1 year later, with updates in Prusa Slicer, I can paint on the fuzzy skin and it correctly computes the fuzzy skin going around the negative volume because that's not what I selected. And I'm really happy that a year's worth of progress has brought us to this point. However, 1 year ago, because it wasn't working in this, I turned to Blender. That's like killing a fly with a sledgehammer, but Blender is free and open source, and it allowed me to do exactly what I needed to do. And so I put together a tutorial for how to do it in Blender 1 year ago. Blender might not be your thing. I get it. Now that it works in the slicer, it really makes things a lot more simple. And if you don't want to see it, I totally understand, but you can skip to this time code on the screen, and that will get you past the Blender tutorial. Here's how you do this in Blender. Download and start Blender. Don't worry, I'll hold your hand through this. You'll want to select Scene Properties on the right. It's a cone with a few circles next to it. Select the Units dropdown and change Length to millimeters. Then above that, for Unit Scale, change it to 0.001. Next, choose File, Import, STL, and choose the STL file you've created before. Once done, you'll want to move your view in order to see it. Now choose File, Import SVG, and choose the SVG file you've created before. The SVG is brought in as a curve, and you want to use it, so we have to convert it. In the upper right, choose the curve, then click Object, Convert, Mesh. Converting the SVG to a mesh allows you to use it with the STL you imported. Press the N key to bring up the properties for the mesh, as you'll need to scale it. The locks here don't seem to lock X, Y, and Z or Z together, so I did it this way. Under Dimensions, change X to the value you want the X-axis to be. For me, it's 75 millimeters. The scale number for X changes to 296.351. Copy that number to the scale for Y. Hey, congrats! You've now scaled your SVG. Your SVG needs thickness, and changing Z for scale isn't the way. Here's how I did it. Click the wrench icon on the right, click Add Modifier, and search for Solidify. Click it. For thickness, I entered 0.3 millimeters. Then click the down arrow and choose Apply. Remember, we don't need much. We just need the SVG to cut out a small bit of the geometry of our STL file. 0.3 is plenty for what we are doing. From here, make sure your SVG is selected and choose Object, Set Source, Origin to Center of Mass, Surface. We want to drag this to the STL, and it needs to snap to it. Here's how I made that happen. Find and click the magnet at the top. Next to that is a square with a down arrow. Click that and choose Face. Further down, add a check mark to Align Rotation to Target. Below that, with Move already selected, click on Rotation to select it as well. Now, click G and drag your SVG to the STL, and it just sticks to it. It's magic! Rotate on Y because the STL is upside down, so your SVG should be as well. Have a look at Z or Z. It has a teensy bit of rotation as well, and you need to remove that. Change the rotation of Z or Z to 0. At this point, click on the STL, then the wrench on the right side, search for Boolean and click it. In Boolean, confirm difference is chosen, and the operand type is object. Click the object browser below operand type and choose curve. Now, click the down arrow and choose apply. And that's it! If the Blender gods have smiled upon you, your STL will have a small cutout in the shape of the SVG you gave it. Export as STL and load it into Prusa Slicer. Apply a fuzzy skin with Smart Fill chosen, and that's it. Look at that, you just conquered Blender. You deserve some ice cream. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. It worked. Look at that. The place where the stickers goes is not fuzzy skinned. And now though, I need to make a sticker to go there. And at this point, I thought I have the Eufy Make E1. It can make UV stickers, and it should work for this because I can scale it correctly and put it in the sticker hole, and easier said than done. Let's go talk about it. For this, I should use a UV sticker. I have the Eufy Make E1 here, and a UV sticker seems like it would be the proper way to do this. I don't want to use multi-filament painting. I want to use a proper sticker on this. Again, this is a product for sale. I want it to look right. And so I wanted to make a UV sticker using the Eufy Make E1. And to say that I had issues, these are failures. These are all failures for one reason or the other. Fail! Originally, I started the sticker and it was just a layer of white and it was a layer of CMYK. And you could just see right through it. It wasn't good. So I had to build up the white layers and I had to build up the CMYK layers. But then the machine kept spitting out extra filament or extra ink. Look at that. It kept spitting out extra ink along there. And I don't know why it was doing that. And then the heads got clogged for some reason and it started doing that. And it was troublesome. And I thankfully went on YouTube and found some people who have this machine who were doing some of the UV sticker printing. And I was able to get it through to a successful one. And then I was able to attach it to this part of the model. I made this 75 millimeters across and then the sticker 75, but that didn't seem right because of the edges. And so then I changed the sticker to be 73 and proportional on the y-axis, and it eventually kind of fit. And I'm not good at putting UV stickers on things. I can't line them up worth a crap. But at the end of the day, I did get a sticker out of this. There's only one more piece of the puzzle for this, and it involves beads. Beads? That's right, beads. Freezer beads. These are these freezer or warming packs that you can get on Amazon. You put it in the freezer or the microwave or whatever, and you warm or cool if you have an owie. And I ordered some. I ordered some from Amazon because what I needed to do is cut them open and add them to this. But while I was ordering from Amazon, check this out. I printed these lids, which I think look dope, but also, look at that. It says Duo Cool on the handle. Within Prusa Slicer, you can obviously add text to curved surfaces. And so I chose a font, I put in Duo Cool, and then I printed it out, and it looks like this. It's just really cool. You can brand your product even further using some really cool slicer tricks. And it works great. I could do branding on the lids, I could do branding on the base. It's one of those things, but that's what I did there. But again, we're talking about now the freezer beads. And boy, that was fun. I ended up ordering 3 of these from Amazon, and in order to put these in here, I ended up using 2 of them. So within the bottom of this, there are holes or air pockets. And what you can do is cut open these packs and add the beads to those air pockets within. And then the base screws on and you are left with something that contains the freezer beads. That was struggle bus for sure. I actually took a piece of cardboard or some paperboard, folded it in half and used it to shove the beads down. But at the end of the day, after however long it took, I did it. I went and I put it in the freezer. So let's go get it. And just like that, Duo Cool is born. Able to cool 2 different beverages at the same time. Those beads in there, you put it in the freezer and they maintain the coolness. And then if you put drinks in here and you put it in your car, your bag, your whatever, it'll keep them cooler for longer. It was really fun. It was really fun having this idea and being able to iterate through the ideation process to come up with Duo Cool. So at this point 1 year ago, I went into the economics of how I would price and print this on my print farm. And it was a really sobering look because for one, for me, for just being something I want, you don't take certain things into consideration. But once you take in, pulling the parts and shipping the parts and machine wear and tear and how you compute everything for the farm, landed cost for all of these parts was like 36 bucks. It's not worth it. Like a landed cost of 36 bucks plus it took 2 of these and a little bit of this one in order to fill it with the beads. And so like the print farm, just to be able to make this as a product to sell was astronomical in price compared to what I view the worth was. And you might be asking, well, it's been a year. Is there any developments in this? Well, kind of Slant 3D has something called Teleport, and you can upload the parts to Teleport. I uploaded this and the cap and the handle and the bottom, and I just chose PLA black. And if you cost it out, it's just shy of $50 US. I'm gonna take this model, just the larger one, but I'm gonna upload this to Printables as a remix because the license allows that, and you can go and print this yourself. And if you can do it for cheaper, like if it doesn't cost as much for you to make this, and somehow you've got a family member over in Shenzhen that will get you these for pennies on the dollar, maybe this would be viable as a product that you could then manufacture and sell. But for me, I don't think the worth is there. This is cool. Like, I like this a lot. Going down this exercise and just being able to talk about something that I put thought into, it's been fun to use. It's been fun to load in the drinks and to keep them cool and to take them to my kids' ball games and to be able to do that. It's just fun. So to make it as a product, I don't believe the costs are there to be able to charge enough to be able to make money on it to make it worthwhile. But again, the file is uploaded. If you want to do it because you can do it for less money, I invite you to. And when you do that, if you do, tag me because I'd love to see it. Heck, maybe I'd be your first customer. Thanks for making it this far because you did. You're awesome. Don't forget to hug each other more. Fight for a cause you believe in. Design more products. And as always, high five.